doing? Hello.
It's just a second, Coach. I'll let you know when we're ready.
Yeah.
Okay, we're ready to begin the men's portion of our basketball media day. We've got Coach James Whitford here with us. We'll have several of our players up here momentarily after they finish weights, and after Coach Witt gets done up here, we'll bring them up. As a reminder, just wave your hand. Let me know if you have a question. We'll get a question mic to you. But to start off with, we'll just have Coach make kind of an opening comment about how practice has gone to this point as the team prepares for the season.
Start by saying I appreciate everyone being here. It's a great turnout, which is always a good sign. And so far so good with our team. It's been an interesting fall because we have a lot of experience returning, and we have 8 guys that have been here for a long time and really know what they're doing, and we're integrating in all our new players. And there's such a stark difference between the guys that have been here for a long time and the guys that just got here in terms of their knowledge of our system. But I like where we're at, and I'm excited about, I think the possibilities for this year, and I think where we could be. And it's really fun for me as a coach to have guys that have been here, multiple guys that have been here a long time, and it feels good. And so with that, I'll open it up to questions.
Coach, this non-conference schedule, you mentioned the word fun. I'm not sure the non-conference schedule will be fun, but
Yeah.
What was your rationale in putting that together? That's going to be really challenging.
Yeah, that's a good question. I ask myself sometimes what the rationale was, but the thought process behind it was, we scheduled Dayton and Notre Dame already, and this happened in about June when we got into the Phil Knight tournament. So our intention was to have Dayton and Notre Dame, and then the usual Valpos, Indiana States, and IUPUIs, and have a challenging schedule and 2 good rivalries close to home. And while that part of the schedule was set and we only had 1 game left to schedule, we got a call from ESPN to become a part of the Phil Knight event. And I had already had all the other games contracted. And I had been communicating with ESPN for years to try to get in their platform events, and not with success. And so when they called me, they said, hey, listen, they needed 1 final team. They were looking for good mid-major teams for their Phil Knight event that would have to have this ridiculous schedule. But in exchange, we would get in some of their platform events down the road. And when I looked at the total package, that was too hard for me to say no to, and because it's a multiple-year commitment with ESPN, and I think for us to be able to raise our profile, I think that's really important for us to do. And but we'll pay the piper a little bit this year, not only with the quality of play, but as much as anything with the travel. And we go to Oklahoma, to Muncie, to Oregon, to Bucknell, to Terre Haute in about 11 days. Would have been nice if we could have started at Bucknell, went to Muncie, to Terre Haute, to Oklahoma, to Oregon, and came home. That would have been a lot easier, but we didn't get that.
Coach, with the addition of Hazen now, you have 8 Indiana All-Stars. Why is in-state recruiting so crucial to you?
Because we're in Indiana, and I say this with no disrespect to Alaska, but if you're the coach of Alaska Anchorage, it's probably not as important as it is when you're the coach of Indiana. And because there's so much good basketball played here, and one of the things that's always fun for me is in Indiana is you can go to, the biggest city, Indianapolis, or you can go to the smallest city in Indiana, and they know basketball both places. And I don't think there's a lot of places that can say that to the level that we can. And so because we are where the players are, especially, it's critical that we can recruit the state well.
Coach, when we talked a little earlier, you talked about the seniors and how they need to step up to kind of fill the role of some of the guys from last year, like a Franco House type guy. Have you seen any of them kind of step up in that role, or has it been like a cumulative effort?
It's a little bit cumulative because you have other guys with good experience like Trey Moses and Taylor. Trey's been out, hasn't practiced yet, and that's impacted us. But of the seniors, Francis Jeremy and Sean are all having an impact, and Francis in particular is the most vocal of those three. But all three do a very good job providing leadership for us, for sure.
Coach, the construction of this team, is it capable of getting to the line more than you did last year and being better defensively where you don't foul as much and send your opponents to the line? Because that was an issue last year, the disparity between your free throws and your opponents.
Right. Now, I think if we went to the line, we led the league in free throws attempted, at least within our conference play. So we got our issue was fouling too much, but we did go to the line a lot, and I hope to keep that. The way we play, I think we should get to the line a lot, and I think that'll happen again. And I feel like we have to be a lot better defensively this year than we were last year, and that was, for me, uncomfortable. You know, we were much better defensively 2 years ago than we were last year. We were second in the league in scoring a year ago. We had all the good offensive numbers under the sun, but we weren't as strong defensively. So we have to be better defensively. A big part of that, which is fouling less, for sure, and that's been a big focus. We spent most of the summer working on our defense. The challenge for me has been that Tajay and Trey haven't practiced a whole lot. You know, Trey's had a strained hamstring and it hasn't practiced one time. And Tajay had some issues with his knee, which both of them are going to be fine, big picture. But they haven't been in the lineup a lot. And so that's been the challenge of trying to get our guys ready without two really important cogs to the wheel. And it's kind of disrupted the flow of practice a little bit. But getting back to your question, no, we have to foul less and be much better defensively this year for sure.
Coach, of the younger players on the team, who do you see having an immediate impact on the season?
I'd say there's two guys that really could. You know, we have three freshmen. We have Ishmael El-Amin, Blake Huggins, and Zach Gunn. And I think all three will be good players. Blake probably has in some respects, the highest ceiling because of his size, but also in many respects the longest to go because it's such a big jump in really level for him and understanding of how to play the game at this level. But I think he's going to be very good. Ishmael and Zach are the two guys that are really competing for roles, for significant roles right now. And it's a little bit early to see how that'll play out, but I think both of them are good players, and I'm excited about. I think all three of them are good players. Those guys are a little bit more college ready than Blake, but I will say as a whole, I'm very excited about the class. I think they're going to be very good.
James, is there a player, be it maybe a Kyle Mallers or a Tajay Teague, who you see their role changing significantly from last year to this year based on who you've lost or how they've improved?
The one guy that's done really well in practice so far is Kyle Mallers. He's done really well. I would anticipate him having a very big role for us all year. And if you would have heard me last year say a few times, I thought he was put in a tough spot. You know, he started teaching him the 3 or the 4, and then, you know, we had some issues with our team. We put him down to the 3. We put him back to the 4. He was kind of like he went wherever I asked him to and never complained, but it didn't put him in position to be successful because he was our utility infielder. I asked him to play 7 positions. And in this year, he's had more time to really lock in on what his role is going to be, how he's going to be played, and he stood out in a really good way. And I would expect him to have a substantially more significant role this year than last.
On the topic of Kyle, what specifically in practice has he done that has impressed you so far? And I guess where is he better in the biggest area from last year to this year?
You know, there's a ton of them, but one, he's just more athletic, and that's, I think, a credit to Coach Roberson, our strength coach. He's faster and moving better. He spent a lot of time with Roberson on speed, quickness, agility stuff in the offseason. Kyle's a really hard worker, and you can visibly see a difference. He's moving better. That's one. He's always been a good shooter, but he did not shoot the ball well for us last year. And I know he really invested in that time, and now he looks like the guy I would have seen all summer watching him play. You know, he's shooting the ball very well. And then he's just, you know, he's a smart player. But I'd say every phase of his game so far has been improved.
Well, given that the preseason looks like an ESPN show, tell us a little bit about the conference and how you see that shaping up, besides how you can overcome this 20-game season where you're there, but you're not there.
You know, I think the conference will be like the MAC always is. It'll be really competitive. And you have a lot of teams that can win it. You know, one of the things, the disparities or the differences in our conference and most conferences is you don't have, you know, like in Big Ten football, you got Ohio State's tradition against Northwestern's tradition, you know, and there's just such a gap. You know, not to say that Northwestern can't be better than Ohio State, but there's such a gap in kind of the history of the programs. Our conference is unique in that way, is that you really don't have it, you know. From top to bottom, you don't have that program that you look at, boy, they're always like great, and these other ones that you say, boy, they're not usually very good. It's very balanced, and always has been ever since I started in the league. And so I would expect this year to be the same. And but I feel like, you know, we have a chance